everybody, Shawn Tubbs here. Welcome to my studio. I hold in my hands a beautiful Shoreline Gold LSL Saticoy Stratocaster. This one's actually my personal guitar and I thought I'd demo it for you today. Let's go right into the specs on this guy. The body is Alder and it's a remarkably light piece of Alder. LSL is really good at hunting down Alder that's pretty light, and it's one of my favorite tone woods for a Strat. It's a little bit fatter in the mids, but it's still a pretty alive sounding wood for the body. Now the neck, the back is maple, and you can see it's kind of raw. I had them take all the finish off. I kind of like that feel on Stratocasters. I don't want that necessarily on every guitar, but for some reason on Strats, it's something I like. So yeah, maple back. The fretboard wood is Rosewood, and I kind of prefer Rosewood over maple. It's just a little bit softer feel for me. The frets are Dunlop 6105s. The neck radius is a 10-inch radius, so it's I wouldn't call it a vintage radius, but I wouldn't call it a modern radius either. And that's one of the things I really preferred about this guitar. Is it's definitely more of a vintage style guitar. The pickups, the single coils, are the 60s LSL wound pickups, and they sound great. It's pretty close to a 60s output, staggered pole pieces. The bridge pickup is a TV Jones classic Filtertron pickup, and that was kind of a new adventure for me. I had a buddy that had a really great sounding Stratocaster and had a Filtertron in the back, and I just thought, well, that's kind of provocative, and ended up really digging it. So the next Strat I got, I wanted to make sure it had a Filtertron in the back. I've got it wired with a 5-way switch, which is your typical Strat setup. The only thing I did differently, which, you know, I don't know that is different, but volume is obviously for all three. Tone, this tone is only for the middle pickup, and this back tone is only for the bridge. Now normally I would have that tone work on both pickups, like on my, I've got a black Saticoy as well, where I have the tone working on both pickups. But in this case I thought, man, I think I just want to leave the neck position wide open and only adjust the tone on the middle and back pickup. And so far it's been really cool. What else? Oh, the keys are Quartersawn. They're just kind of the vintage Quartersawn keys, and I dig them. They work fine. The tremolo is a Wilkinson trem with Wilkinson saddles, and it works really well. Now there are some tricks, like this stays in tune really well, but there's a guy, Carl Verheyen, who's a fabulous guitar player, but he does a little kind of teaching thing on how to properly set up a vintage trem so it'll stay in tune better. This thing stays in tune really well for a vintage trem, but I don't dive bomb it either for the most part, so it might go out if I was to really treat it like it was a Floyd Rose or something. But for the most part it stays in tune really well, and you can see I've got the springs adjusted accordingly, and like I said, you can check out, there's videos about how to do that, and it really does work. What else? Yeah, 4-bolt neck. Lance doesn't serial number his guitars, he names them, so this one's called Golden. My black one's actually called Tubby. I think that's all the specs. I don't know how it got so dinged up. I've only had it for a little bit, but boy, it's been through the... No. This one's relicked. They did a really nice job on the relicking. I'm really happy with how they did the checking and all the crazy tricks they pulled out, you know, to get this thing to look this cool. So yeah, let's listen to it. I'll start with just the neck position pickup and go from there. I'm playing through my D13 FTR 37. That's what I used for the song, and I've got it set, you know, relatively clean. So this is the neck position. And I dig it. It's a throaty, kind of vintagey sounding pickup. Let's listen to, let's just go right to the next position. So now we're in the second position, which is going to be the neck position and the middle position together. I've got the tone wide open. That's what I used for the opening of the of that tune. Here, I'll turn on a delay real quick. It was the really beautiful sounding for that type of stuff. That's what I tend to use that for. Any sort of like rhythm track, you know. Works great in pop tracks, and you know. The next position is the middle position, and I generally use that to take solos. It's just got kind of a quack to it, and that's when I'll start actually rolling tone back. About there, I just roll it off maybe halfway. Here's all the way up. Sounds good, but if you want to take a little bit of that edge off, especially if you're using like a boost pedal. In general, I'll roll it back up if I'm going to play in the positions, you know, the second position, I'll roll the tone back up. Okay, and then let's listen to the fourth position. Now it's more interesting because it'll be a little bit fatter because there's a Filtertron back here, and this is just the classic output. It's not like an overwound Filtertron. But here's how the fourth position sounds. It's kind of fatter. There's some more kind of mids there. I really enjoy it. I think it sounds great like that. Now let's listen to just the bridge position, and I've got the tone wide open on that. So it's real clear and bright, but it's not quite as thin as like a regular kind of output single coil pickup, but it's not necessarily a humbucker or even a hotter P90. It's just got that classic kind of Filtertron sound, which I really dig. And I like it especially for solo sounds. Like I can turn on a boost box, and you know, I kind of had the you know, for the neck position. And then what I was able to do is just roll the tone off just a little bit on that Filtertron, so when I went from to the bridge, it sounded really great. And that's the thing, you've got tone controls on your guitar, use them. You know, and I like the way it sounds with just an overdrive pedal as well. Or here's it off. Remember, I've got the tone rolled back a little bit. Here's the pedal. It's just a little fatter. You know, it's not like a tone I would, you know, say, oh, this is the only thing I'm going to use. But that's my whole idea behind what I did with this guitar. Is I wanted a different strat. I wanted something, especially in the bridge, that I could use that would be different than a typical humbucker in the back, which I love, nothing against it, but you know, something other than a typical humbucker in the back or just a straight kind of single coil thing. It's just a really unique sound. It's real organic, and you know, it's just a tone I dig. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I forgot anything on this guy. If you've got questions, you know, reach out to LSL. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning into my videos and checking out what I've got going, and I've got more to come. So stay tuned. Thanks, guys.